excuses to keep people around. It's acceptable to let go of those who are incapable of loving you. It's okay to let go of those who lack the necessary skills to love other people, especially those who don't even attempt to show love. It's acceptable to outgrow them, as it indicates that you filled the void in your own life with self love, because you're evolving into who you are. You're outgrowing them. And that's okay. As a matter of fact, it's a cause for celebration. Experiencing a profound connection beyond anything that you've ever experienced with another individual, you believe that you have finally found the one. You firmly felt that they were your twin flame, your one and only, and that they were your soulmate. The horrifying tale starts to come to light after a certain amount of time has passed. It might be weeks, months, years, or even longer, especially if you marry this person. The changes come at you one after another in waves. They claim that you're unloving towards them, that you're unfaithful, or that you're only trying to take advantage of them in every possible way, even if it means exploiting them for your financial gain. Even when they don't have any significant wealth to their name, they think that you're exploiting them financially. So now your heart's broken and you're in a state of shock. How could they fail to realize that you love them unconditionally without reservation, and that you never gave the idea of ending the relationship a second thought? But because you have invested so much into this relationship, you choose to ignore these red flags and fight against the negativity being thrown your way from them because you love them. You try your best to love them, and you've convinced yourself that the love you give to them will one day be enough to usher your relationship back to where it was in the beginning, hot and full of passion, where you felt safe and comfortable. After some time, you quickly discover that despite your best efforts to love them, things are still getting out of hand. You struggle to run errands, or if you arrive home 5 minutes late from work, you you're getting wrath. You're catching their wrath. The world beyond the two of you gets progressively smaller until it just completely vanishes. Even seemingly insignificant things can become the focal point of some sort of catastrophe, or what they turn into a catastrophe. Just looking out the window could be turned into you having bad thoughts about your partner, or improper thoughts about something or someone else that's on the outside of the window. You are promoting yourself for a new relationship if you're not swooning over them in public. Nowadays, going out to see friends or family, or working outside of the house starts to lead to unnecessary arguments. This is where the resentment comes. It's going to eventually begin to surface. You aggressively combat the connection rather than attempting to love it back to health. Your fight began as an attempt to lift their spirits and get them to believe you and trust you, but then it gradually evolves into a struggle for your own independence, your own mental health, your own autonomy. You start battling to keep your soul intact. Your frantic attachment to them becomes stronger until you realize that nothing you do to attempt to save this relationship is working. And the abuse that they're giving you starts to intensify. You see that you're being more irrational and emotional. In essence, by constantly caving into their ego and demands, you're beginning to lose sight of who you truly are. You start to fall increasingly deeper into your despair and loneliness, and everything and everyone that you had in your past begins to turn away from you. That was one of the great things about the pandemic, was that we all had time to kind of sit back and work on ourselves because we learned a lot of new terms during this time of self reflection. I mean, no one was really talking about narcissism 4 or 5 years ago. Is not when you first started dating the narcissist that you were with. Therefore, you really didn't have an opportunity to become aware that you were in a relationship with a narcissist until after all of the trauma set in. Most of us came to this conclusion that a narcissist was just someone who was conceited or had an exaggerated sense of self. We were unaware that these individuals were the ones who showed up in our lives and love bombed us and had us thinking that they were going to give us the life that we always imagined with unconditional love, and acceptance, and validation. We never imagined that we may become a victim of narcissistic abuse, let alone fall deeply in love with this narcissist. But if you take the time to think about the day that you finally researched what a narcissist is, and now you're going through this list of narcissistic traits, and you start ticking off all the traits as they pertain to your partner: entitled, check; can't take personal responsibility for their wrongdoings, check; has hair trigger reaction to things that most adults don't get bent out of shape about, check; argues in circles in ways that make your head spin, check; pathological liar, check; and the list just goes on and on and on. Now you're trying to figure out the punchline to the joke that your life's turned into. You may even ask if a person like this could be fixed or cured. And no matter where you search for the answer to this question, it's always going to be the same. Can they be fixed? No. But what do? You hang on to hope, thinking that you just need to put more effort into this relationship. You lie to yourself and make yourself believe that something you can do is going to fix them eventually. And this way of thinking is not going to turn out well for you. As a matter of fact, it's probably going to make it worse because you've just opened the door for them to amp up the abuse: physical, mental, emotional. Because now they're not just feeding off of your energy and attention and your love, but you're giving them the illusion that you like the way they're treating you. And why do they think you like it? Because you are fighting to keep them there and have them treat you the way that they are. You're chasing it. You want it. You need it. Even if you make the threat to walk away from the relationship and you pack a bag and walk out the door, if you don't follow through or stick to your gun, you're going to see that they turn up the love bombing until they have you locked in again, only to start the mistreatment all over. You may even find that the makeup periods in between these breakups are briefer than before, and the blowups are way more explosive as time goes on, as you continue to go through this cycle of makeup and breakup and makeup and breakup. This goes on until you have a complete mental breakdown. You have a huge explosion or meltdown. And trust me when I tell you, the narcissist does not care about your mental breakdown, mostly because it's their goal to break you. They take whatever energy you give them, and when they're done or when you stop providing, they're going to discard you and move on to the next source. Now you find yourself in a constant negative headspace. Some people will even resort to self harm just to feel as if they have some control over their own lives and they haven't given all of their power over to this narcissistic partner. Unfortunately, it may take a mental breakdown for victims of narcissistic abuse to finally permanently remove themselves from these relationships. You have to learn to come to the realization that the person you're with is the catalyst of all the bad that's happening. Understand that this individual was never meant to be your support or the person that you lean on. Their purpose is to show you all of the unhealed parts of yourself and how to seek your validation from within. They teach you how to find love for yourself from yourself. They teach you that you cannot go through life avoiding and abandoning who you truly are or who you truly want to be, just so that you can please or hang on to this relationship that is not reciprocal in its love, care, and affection. These self realizations will begin to come at you hard and fast. And the realization that they're treating you with the same disregard that you are giving to yourself. Eventually, you're going to have to come to the understanding that once you let them go for good, heal, and acknowledge your inner self, you're going to be able to recover from the abuse. And hopefully, you won't allow yourself to be forced into the situation again.